What's it like to be nominated for an Oscar? Well, we got to talk to Diane Warren. She's been nominated for more Oscars for Best Song than anybody, and she hasn't won. This year, she could be her big lucky year. So here's Diane Warren. Okay, so let's begin because I would love to know what makes a great movie song. What are the things you need to have?
Well, first of all, it has to be a great song. That goes without saying. It has to fit the movie. It has to, take that movie somewhere or tie it up emotionally. Like if it's the end song, like for instance, this song kind of, I think ties up, the movie emotionally. Yeah, it has to be a great song. Simply said, it's a great song that's great for the movie.
So how do you start? Do you start by reading the script and that's what inspires you, or do you have to see the film and then you write it, or how does that work?
It's different every time, like I mean, I prefer to see something because for me, I have kind of ADD, so reading a script takes me a while. My friends can read 3 scripts in a night. For me, it takes me a few days to read one. But so it's either reading a script or seeing a rough cut of the movie. This movie, I saw, a rough cut of the film, so that helped me.
And then do you write words first, music first? What comes first?
I kind of just sit at my keyboard or guitar, and I just kind of it's almost like my mind is a computer, and while I'm not thinking about it, it's coming up with things, and then I just, I'm working on something till I love it. I can't do something I don't love, and if I'm writing something that's not making me cry or something, it's not making me feel something. Like again, I'm going back to this song. When I
Sure.
came up with that chorus, it really put tears in my eyes. I mean, it really got me. And I know if it was getting me like that there was something there.
Then how quickly can you write? Can you do it just in a matter of minutes, or
No,
does it
I'm
take
not.
days, or what is it? How does that work?
I'm not one of those people that go that say like, yeah, I wrote that song in 5 minutes. No, my songs don't take 5 minutes. Musically, the song came very quickly. Lyrically, it took a while because I'm really, I mean, I'm just such a perfectionist with music and words. But the music tends to come a bit easier. Um, but lyrics are, they can just really drive you crazy. Like with this song, there were some things that were so easy and then some things that were really hard, lyrically. And I had a really great first verse, and like, well, how do I get a second verse as good as that first verse? So that took me, a minute. I mean, I worked on the song almost a week, and mainly on lyrics.
Almost a week. Listen to
Yeah.
you. Oh my
For
God.
3.5 minutes. I mean, isn't it weird? You think like 4 minutes of something that you spent a week on. It's really weird.
Well, then do you hear a singer's voice in your head? Do you say, "Oh, this is a Reba song. It should be a Reba song," or
Sometimes I hear an artist in my head, or I think that where it could go. And I thought of Reba because, when I write a song for a movie, I'm almost casting that artist to be a part of that movie. And I could hear like Glenn Close's character listening to Reba McEntire, right? Like it just sounds like it kind of fit her character and fit
sure.
that what would be real in her world and authentic. And also there was an added, layer with Reba. Not only is she a great singer, but she's a survivor. She's gone through a lot in her life and is still like just not just surviving but thriving. She's like this epitome of a survivor, of a woman who survived. And I just thought if you take that voice and that persona and pair it with this song, which is so hopeful, and that when you when life's punched a hole in your soul and you're just at the end of your rope and all this, whatever you're going through, that literally that somehow you do get through it because the darkest night will find the day, that's the voice that you'd want to hear sing those words. And then
Then
William Shatner spoke those words, so.
right, right. When you go into the studio, then do you coach them at all, or how does that work?
It's different. I mean, I wasn't there in the studio when Reba did the song. Tony Brown produced the record, who's an amazing producer, and he did such a great record because all they had to work from was my piano vocal. So there was no
Wow.
arrangement or anything. So, he came up with a beautiful arrangement and record, and just a stunning performance, really.
Well, this song almost seems like it's a pandemic song. It really
Okay,
speaks to
so that's
all of.
interesting. It's interesting you say that because when I started writing it right at the beginning of the pandemic, and I was going to work every day at my studio, and it was weird because there'd be no cars on the street. I mean, it was like apocalyptic. It was so weird, but yet I just went every day, and when I was working on the song, I kind of was thinking, wow, this is what the world's going through. This is what everybody's going through. So it took on this added dimension because of the pandemic, and that kind of slipped into this song. Yeah, it's interesting that you say that.
Yeah, I felt it. I felt it was, you're talking to me. You're telling my story
Wow.
during this time, even though I didn't go through the same things the character does in the movie.
Right.
Um, Talk
Wow.
about.
That's really great. And if you look at the comments on her video, on Reba's video, it's pretty.
Okay, well then, how did William Shatner get involved? Is that just?
Yeah, well, what happened was he asked me to be. He has a show called I Don't Understand, and he has various people that can, show, scientists, different people from all walks of life that to show him what he wants to learn always. So he wants to learn, he wanted to learn what makes a hit song. So he asked me to be on the show, and I was thinking, wow, wouldn't that be interesting? Because I'd heard him do Rocket Man. If he did, if he did like a spoken word version of Somehow You Do, and like it would turn it into this a whole other thing, like poetry, because he has the way he speaks is so, it's
Dramatic.
amazing. It is, it's dramatic, it's powerful. And so I went to his show, and I kind of, I told his producer about it, but I'm not sure if William Shatner knew about it, but I brought my engineer and recording equipment and literally sat there, with headphones on and directed him to do it. And we did a few takes, and it was just brilliant, and it added this whole other dimension to the song, really, and then it became like the way I was looking at it is it almost became like, here's a man 90 years old that went to space at 90 years old, right? And he got this perspective of the world that we don't get. No one gets to see the world from space.
Right.
And it's almost like he came back down to earth, and he said, you know what, we're going to be okay. And when he says it, the way he says, and you're going to be okay, it's just like you just believe it. It's almost like he's just giving us all a big hug and saying, we're going to be fine. So it's interesting to have those two versions, and then there's a mashup out there of both versions where he's speaking the verses and she's singing the choruses. That's really cool too.
Okay, talk about 12 times nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, so I'm now the most nominated woman in the entire 94 years of the Oscars to have not won. And there's only two guys
Susan
ahead of me.
Lucci, right?
I'm totally the Susan Lucci. And there's only two guys ahead of me. So, and by the way, in any category, not just music. So, I kind of wear that proudly. I think that's really cool. The fact is it's longevity. I mean, my first nomination was in 1988.
Wow.
That was when I was 2, and
Right. Me
yeah,
too.
I was a little prodigy. But that was, so from 1988, and now we're in, look, I was nominated last year, so that was like
You have a run there too of being nominated every year for how many years? Yeah,
Yeah, I'm hoping it continues this year because, I'm really proud of this song. And
okay, so then that first year, do you say, I'm going to win, it's going to happen, it's going to be, or what is that like?
Well, there's been a couple of years that I kind of felt that way, but usually I don't go in thinking I'm going to win because usually I don't win. But the one time, well, there was a couple of times I thought Because You Loved Me, my Celine Dion song, I kind of thought that was going to win at that time. The one I really thought was going to win was the song I wrote for Lady Gaga, Till It Happens to You. Because that was like, everybody's like, you're winning. And then when you're hearing it, and that she gave this performance on the Oscars that was just
Incredible.
one of the best. Yeah, it was like one of the best things like ever on TV to me, with all these sexual assault survivors. And she's hitting these notes. Still don't know how she hit them full voice. But just that it was just such, people in the audience were sobbing. I looked around and everybody's sobbing. Like a lot of, pretty famous people are all like in tears. And then it went to a commercial break, and then they announced the winner of the category, and the winner is, I'm just ready to kind of go up there. It was like, yeah, not me. So that was, that I have to say I was kind of bummed out that night, but
well, how do you handle that? Do you just say, oh yeah, well, we're here, but I'm at the show, I get to be in the audience, or
Well, no, look, I'm proud of the song. That song actually changed culture in a lot of ways. That was that's a powerful song. I'm proud of that song. I'm proud of the song I wrote. Yeah, if I'm just being totally honest, that night, yeah, I was disappointed that night because I went, wow, what happened? I remember going, what happened? Weren't we supposed to win? It's cool, you just kind of, you move on. The song, it's kind of funny because people don't, really remember a lot of times what won. And if, someone thinks some people think I've won a lot of times. I'm like, no. Even the Grammys, I've only won one Grammy.
Oh, you need more than that. Let's work on that one.
It's okay.
Too.
It's one more than the Oscars I've won, so that's okay.
Well, what I look at though too is it seems like there's this kind of unfair edge. Now, I'm just talking where you see that they throw in some pop star as one of the writers, and then is that really?
I mean, you just never know. It's just, you never know how it's going to play out. The fact is, being nominated by itself is a huge, huge win because there's only 5 songs nominated every year, right?
Right.
The Grammys, look at all the song categories, right? There's just a bunch of them: country song, R&B song, gospel song, rock song, hip hop song. I mean, there's just lots of song
Right.
of the year. The Oscars have won. There's 5 songs, and there's hundreds of songs released in every year from movies. There's hundreds of movies every year released. So and the people that are the ones nominating us are the best composers and songwriters on the planet, on Earth. And so
Sure.
if those people, find me worthy enough to nominate me, believe me, that's a giant, giant win.
Do you have the same this is my speech and I'm going to use it any year, or does it
No,
change each
it would
year?
have to be it would have to be a different speech. But I've had some pieces of paper I've scrunched up in my hands, and on my phone and stuff. Yeah, it would. But I've yet to be able to. Well, I did win the Emmy for the song I wrote for Gaga, and I did get to use my Oscar speech at the Emmys. So
Okay, so it doesn't go to waste at some point.
no.
And have you touched an Oscar? Have you actually, or do you have that kind of fear that if I touch one until I win one, I'm not going to do it?
No, I did a thing. Did you see the Academy, a night at the
The
Academy
museum, yes.
Yeah, so I held an Oscar there, and I got to give my speech, my winner's speech, and then I walked out, and at the end I go, I'm taking this, and I almost meant it. I was like, okay, I'm going to make a beeline with this thing, and they're not going to catch
running.
me. But they're really heavy. Oscars are heavy.
Well,
I thought they were light.
Have you picked a place where it would go?
Man, I don't even, I mean, I don't know. I think I'll just put it right next to my bed or something so I could see it to believe that it really exists. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess I have to win one first.
Yeah,
it would be great.
It's going to happen. I'm predicting it right now. It's going to happen.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so let's keep in that mindset. Now, how many in the course of a year? How do you figure out how many films are you going to be writing a song for? Do you just pick one, or you do more than one, or how does that work?
I do. Sometimes I do more than. I mean, I do usually do more than one movie song a year. So, but you kind of have to figure out if you're gonna, try to go get nominated. You can't really you can't try for more than one song really, because you could split your votes. So to me, this song had. I had a couple other songs and stuff, but this song just felt first of all, it's such a powerful song, and it had a lot going for Glenn Close. The movie's great, so yeah.
But you also had your own album this last year.
Yeah, it was me. It was me being like a DJ. So it was DJ Diane, with all these different artists, like what DJ producers do. So I kind of did my version of that. Yeah, and it had so many different. It was kind of a microcosm of my career, because every kind of form of music was on there. You had the ballads with John Legend. You have Maren Morris. You have country song. You have G-Eazy and Santana, Ty Dolla $ign, John Batiste, who's up for 11 Grammys. I have a song coming out with him in Pentatonics called Sweet. I'm really excited about. Yeah, there's just some great stuff on it.
Is that a different feel though when you're doing that kind of work?
No, it's just me writing songs for artists, which is what I do. I write songs and give them to people to record. This just happened to be me curating, an entire album. So
Do you ever think you'll be out of words, or you'll be out of music? You'll say, I've done it. I can't think of any more.
there's always something new. There's always something new to discover. So I don't think that way. I think there's always more.
Have you said no a lot and said, no, I'm not going to do that one?
A movie or something like that?
Yeah, yeah.
I have. I have to really feel something and love something and think I can really contribute to do something.
And then what about the singer? Do you have to have a connection with them too, or?
No, no. I mean, I don't have to necessarily know them, but back to the movie thing. Yeah, it has to be the right artist for the song for that movie. So when I'm writing a song and giving it to an artist, that's the right song for that artist, and that's really important. But when you're doing it for a movie too, it's not just a voice, the right voice in the song. There has to be more than that. That artist, there has to be something, that artist almost has to be another cast member of that movie.
Is there already one in the hopper for next year? Have you already started that far
Yeah,
ahead?
I have a couple of good things I'm excited about for next year. So yeah.
God bless you. That's great. It never ends, right?
No.
And one last thing I do have to know is when you're sitting at the Oscars, what is that like?
I'm always excited. Look, I stay up all night waiting for the nominations. I am not jaded in the least. I'm so excited about everything about the Oscars, and being there, is amazing. It's amazing. I mean, look, I was never the cool kid in school. I never got invited to anything. I was kind of always the outcast and stuff. So, it's kind of cool to be invited to the party, really, especially that kind of thing. And yeah, it could be nerve wracking, especially kind of when, like, if you think you have any chance, so yeah. I mean, I thought even last year I maybe had a chance, but
I did too. I did too.
It was
I
such a
thought
good
it was
song.
going to be a good year.
I thought, and it was on my dad's birthday, so I'm thinking there's all these signs I'm getting, but it wasn't meant to be, but I believe it'll happen.
Oh, I do too. I am convinced it's going to happen. And if not, you and Glenn should have that after so many nominations, they just turn into an Oscar, right?
I know it's kind of funny that we added it up. We between us, we've lost 20 times. She's lost 8 times. I got her beat. She's catching up, but I'm still.
But really, I think there should be a rule like that. Maybe if you get on the board, you say, let's make this a rule. You get X number of nominations. It's turning into an Oscar. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I love that. I'm all for that. Yes, let's make that happen.
Thank you so much, and good luck.
Thank you so much.
I'm all ready for you, and I want you to make sure when you do go up there to accept that Oscar, you wink at me.
I will wink at you. I'll probably fucking faint is what I'll do. But I'll wink at you before I faint.
Okay, I'm counting on you. Hey, and Diane, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to talk to you.
Good luck too.
Thank you.